balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic. Providing context on today's events, this is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. All right, so we are having a little bit of a watch party, checking things out in terms of delays and stuff like that. So, if you hear or see me do something a little weird, or if I pause for a second to do something tonight, don't be too alarmed. We are kind of checking out. There's a complaint on Rumble in particular, but there's a complaint on Rumble that the video after a certain period of time is very far off from what the chat does. And so we're going to play a couple of games. You know, me and the Rumblers are going to kind of play a couple of games. So just don't freak out if you hear a gap in the time period while I'm handling something really fast. Just so you know, okay, so, okay, I'm looking at myself. Okay, just to catch you. I'm looking at myself right now, and I'm seeing, probably about a 7 to 8 second delay at this point, from the time that I'm speaking, and yeah, maybe a little less than that, but anyway, a little bit of something. So there you go. That's what's happening at the time. So this will be interesting. Hello to everyone who is there over on Rumble. There's 27 people watching. Thank you all for joining over there. Let's see. Let's check and see. Oh, there's nobody on X right now. So, yeah. Okay. And I've got, it looks like 3 in the Facebook room and 1 over on YouTube, which I think is me. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off and started with, of course, the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight is Coco, Cam, and Sean. So Coco, Cam, and Sean are going to be performing the Pledge of Allegiance. And just so everybody understands, Sean is normally a nonverbal autistic gentleman, and so he gets excited, and when he does, he drops into a nonverbal state. So you're going to hear Sean in the beginning, then you'll hear some sounds, which are him also, and then you'll hear him at the very end. That's just because he's so excited about the Pledge of Allegiance. He loves it. He loves it. There's stories behind it, believe me, but he loves it. So anyway, all right, here we go. Let's go ahead and please stand, remove your hats if you have one. Otherwise, place your hand over your heart and join with us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And of course, I thank you, Coco, Cam, and Sean, for submitting that wonderful rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would like to have your Pledge of Allegiance, your version of the Pledge of Allegiance played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself doing it, and then take that audio file and send it in to my email address, fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. Now, clarification, buddy, I saw your note a while ago, and I just saw this isn't about a few seconds. I get it. And it's not I'm not saying that it's a complaint, like bad complaint. It is a complaint, but it's not a bad complaint. You're calling it a notation. That's cool too. We can use that terminology as well. All right. So one programming note, I do not have a question yet for the question of the week for Saturday. So please, if you would, send one in to fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. I think you guys all get that. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to tonight's sponsor, which is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission: to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up. And while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Look at this thing. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather. It is wrapped around tear and water-resistant pages. And they did not cheap out on this binding here, folks. They used actual stitching to go all the way through the leather and the pages. It has a 100-year warranty against materials and defects in workmanship, where if you send it back to the manufacturer, they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has verified that all the information inside this document can help to get you your civics badge in Scouts. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online and get your copy today, as well as checking out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's wonderful, wonderful information and products. And I thank them for allowing me to be an affiliate of theirs. Whew, got through that as quick as I possibly could. I'm practicing for being a auctioneer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, I thought I'd start us off, honestly, with a video of a man who kind of lays things out for those who are on the fence thinking about who to vote for, whether it's Harris or Trump. And really quickly, I caught this a while ago, Mark. I saw it during the run of the spot. Yes, you can have your sister send in a pet of the week. That would not be a problem at all. I accept all of them, pretty much anything. You don't have to be a whiskey warrior or even a fan on the show. If you just want to have like a little 10-15 minute thing to fame for your little fur baby, go ahead, send them on in. All right, back to the show. So this is a video that was posted on YouTube not too long ago. Hat tip to Look and Live. That's the account. I do not have this in the show notes, but it is, you can find it because the title of it is The Best Answer Ever Given on Why We Should Vote for Trump. And, well, let me go ahead and just play the video for you because I really think I really do think this is a fantastic breakdown. Oops, wrong port. Hold on. There we go. A fantastic breakdown of why we should vote for Trump. It's about 4 minutes long. Just be a little patient. Here we go.
Why are you voting for Trump?
All right, young lady, I'll be happy to answer that for you as somebody that is a former Democrat. I'm a 2-time bone cancer survivor. I voted for Obama-Biden in 2008 based on Obamacare. And then when Obamacare was implemented, I promptly lost my insurance. I could not keep my plan. I could not keep my doctor. That put me in a tailspin of losing insurance. And then on top of that, I got penalized for not having insurance that I could no longer afford. Now, that was pre-Donald Trump political career. That had nothing to do with Donald Trump. That had to do with the Democratic Party leaving me behind, even though I voted for them. Now, come along to 2016. Donald Trump campaigns on getting rid of the penalty for no insurance. And he did that. Helped my family out and me specifically. Then he campaigned on tax cuts. He did that. I got a tax cut. My employer got a tax cut. My employer then gave all 200,000 plus employees raises because the tax burden on them was less. Now, ironically enough, that company was Costco, a very liberal company that backed Hillary Clinton in the election. Not only did they give all employees raises, which mine was $3 an hour back in 2018, they raised the minimum wage from $12 an hour to $15 an hour because they specifically said the tax breaks. Donald Trump delivered on that. And there wasn't a single Democrat that voted for you and I to have more of our own money we earn. One of the people that cast a vote no was a senator from California named Kamala Harris. We did not get into any new conflicts. Our president set foot in North Korea. I don't know if you know how big that is. But the one thing I want to ask you is this. You look young, which means you're probably still on your mom and dad's insurance. So you've never had to face that dilemma as a parent or as an adult. Also, you probably don't own a home. And if you don't know the difference between a sub 3% mortgage rate versus a nearly 8% mortgage rate under Biden, then you simply don't understand why anybody could ever vote for Donald Trump. To me, since I know how all that works, my bigger question is, why on earth would anybody vote for Kamala Harris? Because she's sitting here saying no tax on tips, but yet in 2023, her and Biden passed a bill, and she was the deciding vote to make this a bill where you had a new way of reporting taxes on tips, and they also were going to hire 87,000 new IRS agents to audit us to make sure the government got more of our money. Now she's saying this, just like she said she's going to protect women's reproductive rights, which got turned over under her and Biden. They could have codified it. They didn't. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because he has a history of doing what he says versus Kamala Harris having a history of saying shit and not doing anything about it. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because of the history we have to look back on. A good economy, good job growth. America was doing great before pre-COVID. Now, COVID would have ruined any president. I don't understand why anybody would vote for Kamala Harris. Can you answer that one for me?
Well, there you go, folks. There it is. There's your reasons for voting for Donald Trump. Brought to you by a very well-educated man on the entire thing. So I just wanted to bring that to you because there are people who don't seem to understand all of what this gentleman was saying. there are people out there, especially the young folks, who haven't quite yet been on their own or done the things that he was talking about in terms of, paying taxes and making sure that, they get the lowest interest rate on their homes, which people don't understand. A home is probably one of the big, in fact, it is the biggest investment. It's the biggest investment that anyone can actually do within their lifetime, realistically. I know my home is, okay? I know my home is the biggest investment I've ever paid for in my entire life. And that's, believe it or not, part of the reason why we're still here. Because even though, as much as I would love to say that this house is, perfect for us, it's not. It was something that we purchased. We did it for our own reasons. No reason to go through that right now, and dig into it. But it was done for our purposes. It's served its purpose. But now my wife wants something different. We've been here 21 years. It's 21 years just this past month, I believe. And she wants something different. We've talked about, because I have property, we've talked about building a home. I can't build one now. I can't afford to build one. Even if I wanted to, I can't afford to build one because of Bidenomics and the stress that we have on our economy. And I'm kind of hoping to get Trump back into office so that he can actually do something about the economy. Lower taxes, lower inflation, get our economy moving so the people aren't cash strapped all the time. So something got posted on X. It is a video. It is a video of Donald Trump. And unfortunately, I have to tell you, this is the thing that Donald Trump was caught doing that actually is illegal. Well, and I'll explain a little bit more about it. But here it is. Here he is. And yes, that is an actual U.S. flag. Now watch this. Now, I don't know, honestly, anything about this video other than the fact that this is Donald Trump. This is an actual U.S. flag. And yes, he is actually signing it. Now, if you look at the flag and you look at the bottom of toward the bottom of the screen, like right even with my head right here, it looks like there's another flag underneath it. Almost as though they were doing this in kind of an assembly line fashion, like he was signing maybe a few of them. I do believe it's at the 9/11 memorial. So, I mean, I can't necessarily get too angry per se about this, but I am a little frustrated. And the reason why I'm frustrated is pretty simple. It's because of this. For those that don't know, there actually is a written law as to how you treat the U.S. flag. In this particular section is Title 4, U.S. Code Section 8, and under it are several items to make sure that your respect for our standard, the colors, the U.S. flag, is, respected. I mean, it's supposed to be respected. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, wait a minute, the left and the protesters, they always burn the flag. Yeah, I'm pissed off about that too, because technically that is also disrespect, especially when they throw it on the ground and stomp on it during their protest. And I get pissed off at that as well. Okay. This isn't just reserved necessarily for Trump. However, again, this is disappointing that he's doing it. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about under Title 4, Section 8, subsection G. Oh, wait, I see what I'm doing. Hold on. Let me go here. There we go. Now I can do the zoom. Subsection Z, or G, I'm sorry, is right here. The flag should never have placed upon it nor on any part of it, nor attached to any mark, insignia, letter, word, figure, design, picture, or drawing of any nature. So I'm sorry, but they caught Trump breaking a law. They did. They put it on video, and he's there. Now, it's non-enforceable, and let me explain why. Because there are no punishments, there are no fines. There's nothing to it. It's no different than when, and this started, my understanding and knowledge of Title IV as a whole started way back about 20 years ago. There was an advertisement at the place that I was near the place that I was living. And that advertisement had two people in a bed with the American flag draped over it. Well, the American flag is not supposed to be used for bedding. The American flag is not supposed to be used for clothing. And I know a lot of people are like, well, shoot, you use a representation of it in your logo. I do. But that's not an actual American flag. The whole, at the RNC, the left got all pissed off because Hulk Hogan ripped his shirt that had an image of an American flag on it. Again, that's a representation. Tommy's calling out, rightfully so, Tommy's calling out my hat band. My hat band is red, white, and blue, but it's not a flag. It's a representation of the flag. That was what he was signing, was an actual U.S. flag. So, in summation, yes, Donald Trump has now, we've got the evidence, we've got it right in front of us, he has broken the law, but there's no punishment. And I'm not saying that he necessarily should get one. I personally think that he should have refused to sign the flag. But I have a very sneaking suspicion that he, just like about 99.9% of America, have no idea of Title IV. Have no idea of Title IV of the U.S. Code. That's what I'm guessing. Now, I did post on Truth, and I did point at him. I pointed him out, and I said, hey, you really should apologize for that and promise not to do it moving forward. But the left started to make a big deal out of this, just like they always do. And yes, Mark on Facebook asks, so a cardboard flag is not a flag? Nope. No, it's not. And what's interesting is Title IV actually explains what a flag is. It tells you what it is. It's 13 horizontal stripes alternating red and white. The union of the flag shall be, in this case, 48 stars, but we have actually 50, in a white, in a blue field. Then it continues on and talks about the additional stars. It talks about the uses for advertising purposes, which in this case, again, any person who, and this one in the District of Columbia, in any manner for exhibition, shall place, etc., they have a bunch of rules on here that talks about him signing it. Not him signing it, but talks about the rules of all the different things that you can't do. But the thing about it is it's, again, this is not enforced. And honestly, I'm not even sure that it would be, necessarily. It also covers Title IV also covers the Pledge of Allegiance and how you're supposed to say it. It lists out times and occasions for the display, the position and manner for the display, conduct lowering during the hoisting and lowering or passing of the flag, modification of rules and customs by president. There's a whole bunch of lists and rules, but most people do not understand that that's there. And Bonnie correctly points out that we burn the flag when it is torn, and that honestly is the preferred method of the retiring of the flag. And there is a specific procedure to do it. The scout, and after being a scout master, I have seen the scouts. The code actually talks about when you have a flag that is supposed to be retired. And keep in mind, this is for cotton flags. The nylon and the polyester flags, because of the fact that they don't burn very well, and they realistically should be recycled, they're disposed of in a different fashion. But with a cotton flag, there are different ways of doing it, but it does say to retire a worn flag in a manner that is respectful to the flag. And it also says in it, as it preferably by burning. And so, yes, the Boy Scouts, the American Legion, I think the VFW also does it too. Several former military organizations will take the flags and dispose of them for you. And, again, they are specific procedures. But I'm just saying, they finally caught him. They finally caught him on video doing something that he shouldn't be doing. I mean, the sad part about it is that, unfortunately, I don't think he even realized what he was doing. So, I mean, from my perspective, I'm only going to call him out on it because I promised, and I continue to promise, to be honest and forthright, not necessarily falling to just one side or the other. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, he did do something that was technically illegal. And I even said that. So shoot me if you want to, but I'm certainly going to call it out when I see something that no matter who it is, when I see something that they're not supposed to be doing, I'm going to call it out. And I certainly hope, although I highly doubt anybody is going to, bring my post to his attention, but I certainly hope that if he does see it, that he considers apologizing and promising to never do that again. So anyway, all right. I do have something that is irritating also too. So folks, whenever you're getting ready to reply to an email, make sure that you're not hitting reply all. Especially if it's something that is going to be derogatory to somebody or something on some subject on that particular email. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about good old Kirby. That's right, Admiral Kirby. Okay. Admiral Kirby here in the Populist, and I've seen this also on other outlets because it happened. It got sent actually to Fox News, believe it or not. White House Kirby attacks U.S. veterans in email sent by mistake to Fox News. You think that Donald Trump is against veterans and is against the military? These people that are currently in the White House actually are. They say it, and we've caught them at it. Here it is again. John Kirby, he actually accidentally criticized veterans in an email that was meant to be an internal communication, but he He hit reply all, and it went to Fox News on 9/11. So apparently there was an email, Fox News Digital emailed them discussing certain veterans being critical of the Afghanistan withdrawal. And they were, presenting concerns about how the White House handled it. And apparently his response, which again was reply all to everything, had a bit of a problem, because he said that don't bother responding to them. It's just from a handful of vets of one stripe, meaning conservative veterans. Well, he apparently saw the error, acknowledged the error, because he then responded back and said, clearly, I didn't realize you were on the chain, when he was talking to the Fox reporter who actually received the email. Yep. These people don't give a shit about veterans. They don't. They just don't. And they blame Donald Trump for something that he never said. Sorry, I had a piece of ice in my mouth. That he never said or anything else. The email mistake also followed up with a controversy, or was a part of the controversy, about a GOP report that criticized the Biden's administration Afghanistan withdrawal, alleging inadequate planning in response to terror threats. The report also claimed that the Taliban had gained access to $7 billion in U.S. weapons and $57 million in funds. And, the GOP report further suggested that the withdrawal had tarnished U.S. credibility and emboldened adversaries such as Russia. All of that is true. Well, I mean, we know that we left weapons. I don't know what the actual count was, but we know what we left weapons over there. Mark Geist, who is a Marine veteran and member of the Benghazi Annex security team, who assisted with the rescue of over 100 Americans from Taliban captivity in 2021, told Fox that Kirby told a one-sided story about Afghanistan during a recent press conference. Geist said, in the press conference, John Kirby delivered a one-sided presentation of facts and falsehoods regarding the recent House report on Afghanistan. I'll start with where Mr. Kirby finished, which is likely the only thing he said that was completely true. They pulled out of Afghanistan because they wanted to start and fund the war in Ukraine, fully aware that the American people would not tolerate being involved in two wars again. So, in other words, Kirby basically attributed the rushed exit, which I seem to recall Kamala Harris blaming Trump for this, but Kirby attributed the rushed exit to the fact that they didn't want to continue in Afghanistan. That's it. They wanted Ukraine to get the money. What a mess. And yes, I agree. We don't want any wars. We don't want any wars. None whatsoever. Well, anyway. All right. This administration is a joke. And if you honestly believe that a Kamala Harris administration is going to change any of this, it's wrong. You're wrong. Completely wrong. Completely wrong. And Bonnie, no, I do not believe that Kamala, Kirby, or Biden have talked to the Gold Star families as of yet. In fact, I don't even think they even realize the 13 people's names that got killed at Abbey Gate. Okay, so in the Epic Times, we've got warnings already with regards to the U.S. mail causing 2024 voting disruptions. The United States Postal Service has said that it is equipped to deal with mail-in ballots. However, it's a possibility that the nation's mail system could disrupt voting in some areas. The Wednesday letter sent to the U.S. Postal Service's postmaster, the National Association of State Election Directors, and the National Association of Secretaries of State said they have ongoing concerns about the USPS's ability to perform ahead of November 5. Now, of course, I've mentioned this a couple of times. You know, in the fact that places that are, say, I told you about that article where people in, I believe it was Arizona, were saying that or Utah or both, were saying that their ballots went all the way to like Las Vegas to get separated and then sent back out. And so that is something that the U.S. Postal Service has said that they are going to take care of. But over the past year, mailed ballots that were postmarked on time were received by the local elections offices after the deadline to be counted. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll just have to see. They also noted that properly addressed election mail was being returned to them as undeliverable, a problem that could automatically send voters into inactive status through no fault of their own, potentially creating chaos when these voters show up to cast a ballot. Yeah, our election system isn't fixed yet, people. That's just all there is to it. All right, let's move on to the Haitian issue in Springfield. Now, there are people who are out there who are saying that the Haitians are, eating pets, eating ducks, eating geese, those kinds of things. I've seen some of the videos. Just going to hold it into, we're going to hold it into an anecdotal status for the moment. But the problems that they've been having with things like Haitian migrants crashing into all kinds of things, trying to drive. A Haitian migrant crashed into a bus and killed an 11th grader. That one there is it as well. Unfortunately, no, Bonnie. And so there are several issues. Plus, I told you of that gentleman who was talking about his car insurance going up because of all the uninsured motorist accidents in the area in Springfield. Well, apparently the residents have decided they've had enough. So this in the Blaze Media, which I'm happy for them to do this. Petition being created to recall the entire Springfield City Commission after the Haitian reflux. Reflux. They're getting sick off of this. But anyway, on the petition, apparently it says the current members of the commission have breached their public responsibilities. They were citing Section 59 of the city's charter. The petition, which was obtained by Blaze Media, says it is seeking to recall the entire membership, right here, the entire membership of the Springfield City Commission. Mayor Bob Rue, Assistant Mayor David Estrop, and Commissioners Crystal Brown, Bridget Houston, and Tracy Tackett are named in the draft document. So the petition is accusing them of not enforcing building codes, says the city has used money earmarked for hiring police officers for other purposes. It also calls for the removal of the city's leadership. And there's a list here of their failures. Kind of like, I don't know, maybe the Declaration of Independence did way back in 1776. Anyway, so the residents have had enough. And honestly, the Haitian migrant problem isn't just in Springfield or Canton or any of some of these other locations. There's other cities that are being affected by all of this as well that are now starting to come to light. Here in Wilkes-Barre, video shows moment Silacuga. Wow, I'm not even sure how to pronounce this. This is just as bad as Puyallup up here. Sylacuga is the name of the town. I have no idea. City council meeting ends in chaos as furious residents demand an answer to the influx of Haitian migrants. So this is in Alabama. Residents of the city have reportedly witnessed more than 50 migrants being bussed into the city in recent weeks. However, efforts to get to the bottom of the issue have been difficult, with the governor's office claiming it was not receiving any information from the federal government. Yeah. Really? So on Thursday, September 5th, concerned residents asked questions of the 5 council members as a part of the Sylacuga, oh God, I'm not even going to try, city council. Initial concerns were brushed aside by the council president, Tiffany Nix. Yeah. Take a look at the video. Right. Yeah.
Do we know where the individuals we're discussing are coming from? Where their point of origin is? Because you're treating them like lawful U.S. citizens, which they are not.
Okay, so I'm going to cut it off because we've had 3 people to come up. I'm going to cut it off because we have no reason, again, we have no reason to launch an investigation or to treat people differently because of how they look. There's no reason for it.
Who said that?
Well, that's just what I'm saying. I just said that. Tiffany just said that.
Okay,
so
I didn't say that.
But I said it. But there's no reason for us to discuss this any further.
These individuals came from Haiti.
Are valid concerns that we need to
How
get
are
out.
valid concerns, Laura? People come here all the time. We
These
visit
people came here
Birmingham.
from
We
Haiti.
visit other.
Haiti is a failed state.
We
Their
visit
president was
everywhere.
assassinated in 2021. There
We're
is no
done.
way the State Department can
We're
vet these
done,
individuals.
and I'm
Should
gonna
not
ask
cut
this
him
to.
off. Please let him talk.
You had a
shut
chance.
up
I
and
was
let
very
people
specific.
talk.
Okay, I'm gonna ask all of you to leave because this meeting is over. If having no other further business, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All right, second.
Second.
All in
Good to
favor?
know.
They're sitting up there lying.
Good to know. Don't want to hear the truth.
This is our city, not
This is our
Can
city.
you just say that we can't speak, that we have no word? I'm from Southern California.
What would you like us to do?
To cut off public debate in the middle of a meeting is a violation of the law.
What they're gonna do is they're gonna spend our tax money. That's the money they're.
Okay, so it kind of broke down. For those of you that haven't or that aren't watching on the video, this is for the audio portion of the program. It was a civil meeting up until the point that the council president or whatever, she essentially cut them off. And this essentially, I mean, this is what's happening. It happened in school boards. It happened with people who are asking legitimate questions. Why are these people who aren't citizens, some might be here illegally, why are they just being released into our towns, into our cities, into places that don't have the resources to be able to support these folks? We've seen it in Chicago in the last 3 years. We've seen it in New York in the last 3 years. Heck, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, was basically saying we don't have the resources to be able to take in all of these aliens, migrants, whatever you want to call them, homeless. These are legitimate questions that our elected leaders are not willing to address. They are not willing to address this. This is your job, people. This is exactly what you are supposed to be doing. That's why you were elected and hired. One of the jobs that you have is to protect the township. This is one of the core functions of government, is to protect the people from outside influences and foreign sources. That's the federal government's number one job. And it doesn't matter whether it's that number one job at the federal level, the state level, or the city level. The whole purpose of government is to ensure and protect our rights, to ensure and protect the citizens, to make sure that the citizens are able to live freely and with liberty, and also to uphold the laws that are duly passed. This is the job and the function of government. That's the point. They're not doing their jobs anymore, people. And I'm telling you right now, 100%, if you are unable to do that job, then it's time for you to go. Now, the problem here, of course, is that these people, or the entire electorate, while some places like these will likely have a change of this, a change in leadership, that's what elections are for. And as of right now, you have not only cities like this and larger that are experiencing it. This is a systemic problem that started all with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Okay, because this is the Harris-Biden administration. Excuse me, Biden-Harris administration. No, I was right the first time around, let's be honest. This is all because of their lackadaisical enforcement of the border and the request to bring these people here for their chosen belief of the Great Replacement theory, which isn't a theory, it's an actuality, it's what they are doing. And here they want to bring these people in because they want them to vote. That's why they are fighting back on the SAVE Act. That's why they fight against everything that is voter ID related. They call it election suppression. It's not election suppression, unless you consider it's election suppression because the people that are going to sway everything in our direction are being suppressed. Meaning non-citizens. Speaking of non-citizens voting, this came out, and again, these Democrat morons are all sitting there talking about how, oh no, illegals aren't voting, they're not voting. It's not happening, but it's good that it is. That's part of it. Well, this, in the Federalist, federal data, thousands of illegals are registered to vote. But in 21 years, the Department of Justice has only prosecuted 35. You remember how I started off this program with, not the video, but after the video, I was telling you about Title IV and the U.S. Flag Code, how it's unenforceable because there's no punishments or anything on it. At the same time, if you don't enforce the laws that you have on the books, okay, then what you're going to have is essentially these lawbreakers can get away with this stuff all the time. It's no different than I saw an article. Well, let me continue with this and then I'll bring it up. But in 21 years, only prosecuted 35 illegals who were registered to vote. And yet the Democrats sit there and say, oh, no. It's illegal already. We don't have to worry about it. Yeah, sure you do. Because you're not prosecuting for these things. Just like you don't prosecute for all the BLM rioters that burnt down entire cities such as Minneapolis. So the Heritage Foundation did a look and they found, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the federal government decided only to go after 35 cases, criminal cases, of aliens voting in American elections from 2001 to 2021, which is the latest year that this data is actually available. Now, the suspiciously low number of prosecutions contrasts with thousands of aliens that have been registered to vote in recent years, and at least hundreds being flagged to the Justice Department as having actually cast a ballot. Oh, wait, Democrats, morons, because only morons vote Democrat. No, moron, Democrats. No. That's not happening. That's not happening here because it's already illegal. Can't happen. Nope, not going to happen. It already is. The Justice Department has records of it. People, if we're to have a secure election, there is no way getting around this issue. You need to make sure, absolutely sure, that they are a U.S. citizen and that they are who they say they are. That is the only way that we are going to be able to move forward with our elections. Now, Hans von Spakowski, who is a manager of the Election Law Reform Initiative at the Heritage Foundation, told the Federalist in the interview, I spent 4 years at the Justice Department as a career lawyer, and I can tell you that the career ranks of the Justice Department are filled with left-wing ideologues. They just had no interest. They have no interest because it is doing exactly what these people want. They have no interest in it because they're voting Democrat. They're saying here, he continues, where he says, they think it's unfair that aliens can't register and vote. Plus, many of them thought, well, if they're registering and voting, it will help our side. Yeah, that is exactly why they're not interested in pursuing any of these cases, he continued. Folks, I'm telling you, we have some serious issues, and for any of you leftist morons out there who happen to watch this program or watch my videos at any point in time, I know you hate to be called that, but this is exactly what you are. This is a leftist moron. This is why we need to secure our elections. This is why. And you sitting there closing your eyes and saying, oh, it's not happening, but it's good that it is. I guarantee you that if these were people who were coming across who were voting Republican, y'all would be all over it in a minute. You'd have that law written and signed stated, sealed, delivered to the desk quicker than, I don't even know what to think about. Quicker than what? But it would be done. This is a complete and entire mess. And yes, these illegals are contributing to our crime rates, folks. They are contributing, unlike what ABC's David Muir said at the debate. So this in town hall, just to finish out the show here, ABC moderators for the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris couldn't have been more biased. That's true. But David Muir in particular said, President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is coming down in this country. Well, in fact, that's not true. There is an increase in crime under Biden. While violent crime fell by 17% under Trump, Biden has seen it rise by 43%. What Muir doesn't understand is what the FBI is measuring. This is from the piece. The FBI counts the number of crimes reported to the police. Trump was right. In less than half of police departments are actually now giving that information to the FBI. That's right. And that's because the FBI changed the methodology and the way of how to report it. Also, they made it optional rather than required here not too long ago. But more importantly, Trump himself was discussing what was happening to total crime, not just the number of crimes reported to the police. And here's the kicker. There's two separate measures of crime. One of them is the FBI's Uniform Crime Reports. And that counts the number of crimes reported to police yearly. The other is the Bureau of Justice Statistics National Crime Victimization Survey. And this one asks about 240,000 people each year whether they have been victims of crime in an attempt to try and measure both reported and unreported crimes. Now, we know that crime victims report only about 40% of violent crimes and only about 30% of property crimes to police. Prior to 2020, the FBI and the NCVS numbers generally were pretty close to one another, and they moved together, either up or down. However, since 2020, wait a minute, who came in to office in 2021? Who was that? Let me see. I think that's a guy by the name of Biden. But now what's happened since then, 2020, these two measures have consistently gone in opposite directions. The FBI has been finding fewer instances of crime, but people are simultaneously answering in greater numbers that they have been victims. So who are you going to believe? The FBI, who takes in half of the amount of reports that they have before, or a little more than half? Or are you going to believe the people who are being surveyed and answering truthfully that, yeah, I've been a victim of crime? Maybe they didn't report it. Folks, this administration is a train wreck. It always has been. It has been for 3 years. Bonnie asks, what is NCVS? Whoops. Bonnie asks, what is NCVS? That is the National Crime Victimization Survey. And it comes from the Bureau of Justice Statistics. Is that? That's what that is. But anyway, folks, we're looking at a train wreck. And if you want to continue 4 years worth of that train wreck, folks, I'm telling you, vote for Kamala Harris if you enjoy the train wreck that we are on. Otherwise, we need to vote Trump, Vance, and Republicans down ticket to save the republic. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, run on over to rumble.com. Make sure you get yourself an account. And once you do, search up the American Perspective channel. It's really pretty easy. I think I'm like maybe the the only channel that's on Rumble under that name, but you can check. If not, there's only a few of us. And make sure you hit that green follow button, because of the fact that green follow button will allow you to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, if you would, please make sure you hit those thumbs up, like buttons, all of them, everywhere, because of the fact that all of that helps expose these videos and my channels out to a wider audience, and that is what I'm looking for. We will see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's Friday, so we'll see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.
The previous broadcast was produced and is owned by Active Eye Media LLC. All rights reserved.